Wow.
This is
So
the
I
show.
can't
This is
see
the
you
whole
guys.
show.
Oh, there we go.
Now you can see.
Yes.
Hello, boys. It's another
Hey,
week.
good
It's
evening.
another time for us to get together to drink beer, swap stories, and stuff.
And share it with the world.
Share
All
it with
50
the
million people watching us.
That's
now.
right. It's amazing. I don't know how our popularity hasn't made us billionaires. I don't know why I'm laughing at that because I'm so sad about it now. But anyway,
all right. So
boys?
it's beer drinking time. So
It is.
I want to know, Dave, you're probably not drinking beer, but what are you drinking,
No,
man?
that would be right. I've done this one for doing the ginger ale.
Sorry, you're doing the what?
Was that a Phillips?
Spitfire, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done this one. It's
I don't remember
They,
you doing it,
Actually, I think you have. I have seen it.
They renamed this.
And Locke has entered the room.
Hello.
Nice.
So the Spitfire ginger ale, yes, you have had that on the show before, not too long ago, a month ago maybe. But yeah, I have seen that can.
And how does it compare to, like, say, a Canada Dry?
Oh my god, apples and
Dry?
kumquats, man! Like Canada Dry is terrible.
Should you not compare apples and kumquats?
No, you shouldn't.
Oh, all right.
No.
Okay.
Kumquats.
That's helpful.
Weird.
Thank you.
They're just too weird.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've never liked Canada Dry. It's a fucking embarrassment to the country.
Okay.
It's sugar water is what it is.
All right.
It's really
terrible. I'll have to try it sometime.
Seriously, I think you'd like it, dude. It's it's got well, okay. If you like ginger, this is your man.
I prefer a ginger beer. I prefer a ginger beer.
Rather ginger was a woman like on Gilligan's Island.
Okay, sure. What about a ginger, Locke? Would that do?
A ginger would be
a ginger as opposed to ginger.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, beggars can't be choosers, right?
Okay.
All right.
Well,
so Locke, there you are. What are you drinking, my good man?
So this evening I am drinking Double Jutsu, and it is by Bellwood's Brewery. It is 8% per volume. It's a double IPA. And let me see here. Not really a lot of information on this can, so I don't really know a whole lot about it, and I didn't do a whole lot of extra research on it. So let's give it a try and find out what it's like. Now, on the subject of craft sodas, Henderson in Toronto, who do the UPA, which is the I can't remember what it stands for. Anyway, Henderson do a lot of reasonably good craft brews in Ontario. And they have just moved into the craft soda market as well. I haven't tried one yet, but maybe I'll give it a shot at some point. So let's find out what this is like. Okay, it's definitely on the New England IPA sort of end of the spectrum. I'm getting hints of grapefruit.
So are you okay with that, the grapefruit?
I'm okay with the grapefruit. It's still a little sweeter than I'd really like in a beer.
Okay.
But that said, the notes of grapefruit give it a slightly astringent kind of flavor that would go well with food. You know what I mean? It's strong, but it's still refreshing, and that I like about it.
Great.
I don't know if
All right.
I don't have any glassware, so I'm not going to pour it into anything. So I'm just
right.
going to.
Are you're up in Muskoka right now?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
up in Muskoka, so
What I'm drinking tonight from Tree Brewing Co. It's Mellow Moon, a pineapple Hefeweizen. The best things in life are tree. So basically,
you know what?
I gotta say, I really like that moon. That's really.
I have a. So this is Tree Brewing, is it?
Tree Brewing, yeah.
Yeah, I have a fair history with those guys. I've enjoyed their product for a long time.
Oh my! Oh my! Oh my! Overflowing! Explosion of head!
Actually, I wonder, was it Tree that made? God,
Look at the head on that pour.
this was years ago that we talked about this,
Oh.
but I kind of wonder if it mightn't have been Tree that did. What was it called?
The peanut gallery.
Blonde Bombshell or something like that, or
Blonde bombshell.
Are you thinking
Possible?
of Thirsty Beaver?
no? I'm not thinking of Thirsty Beaver. It was like it was definitely a blonde, and it was definitely bombastic. It had, how shall I put this? When you put blonde and head together, things start to happen in one's imagination. The funniest thing about this beer was that it literally would explode every time you opened a can, and the genius of it was the perfect Marilyn Monroe beer, because if you're on a beach blonde, that's what it was called, and if you're
Okay.
on a beach and you're pretty and blonde, but for some reason the boys aren't paying enough attention. You crack one of these things, oh my God, my shirt got all wet. Right? Perfect Marilyn Monroe move.
So Shane, what are you thinking of it?
I haven't tried it yet. I was listening
You
to
haven't
Locke.
tried
It smells like.
beer.
It does smell like a pineapple went into the glass and died. Oh. You guys can't have any.
All right.
Oh.
So
It's
it's
actually
actually
quite good.
it's pretty good.
I mean, it's very light.
Mm-hmm.
It has a really nice, aromatic experience.
I've never been a big fan of Tree Brewing, but that may not be because of Tree Brewing.
I think their Cutthroat is pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a more competitive product out there, no question.
So let me tell you, I used to do comedy, and there was this comedy bar that I used to perform at, and they served Tree products there. It was like Thirsty Beaver is a Tree product, isn't it?
Yeah.
They served, that was their main beer that was on tap. And one day, a bunch of us, we were getting served this beer, and I don't know if the glasses were dirty or if there was something wrong with the brew or something. But anyway, it was really gross, and it had floaty, chunky things in it. And
Was I there? I have a vague memory of this.
You may have been there. You may have been there.
Problem with their lines. If you don't clean the lines, guess what happens?
Yeah.
Like particulate will accumulate and then flake off and make an ugly shape in your beer.
Yeah. And that could be it. I mean, the place was kind of a dive, and it didn't really survive for too much longer after that. So,
Surprise, surprise.
surprise, surprise.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
There's definitely issues with a lot of that kind of stuff. So it's terrible. But overall, I give it a thumbs up for this particular beer from Tree Brewing Co. Their Pineapple Hefeweizen. It's a little tart though, and I don't know.
That's
I guess is pineapple traditionally tart? Like when you have like they're sweet when you eat it, but if
well,
it's gets overripe, does it get tart?
There's strong acids in a pineapple that are usually overbalanced by the sugar. But if your itty bitty superheroes eat all the sugar and turn it into alcohol, then what'll be left is the acids. So I would expect that it would be a little on the sour end.
Yeah.
As I expressed earlier, there are breweries, and I'm thinking in particular here of Big Kahuna and Kona. Is it Kona? I think it's Kona in Ontario. That uses pineapple and somehow manages to finish it off as a dry beer tasting ale, right? Like it doesn't taste like pineapple; it tastes like beer, right? Which I think is sort of awesome. What they do exactly, I don't know, and maybe they're choosy about the pineapple, but
It's possible. It's very possible. I mean, overall, the of the three beers, we have some pretty random things. I mean, I actually picked up a couple more, one for next week and the week after, that I have not seen. I've got actually, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to surprise you. But essentially, two beers that I have not had before from breweries. One brewery we've had before, one that I don't think we've had. I couldn't find any Fuggles and Warlock today, but no, actually, it's not true. I did find one. It was a 6-pack of one of their beers, and I can't remember what it was called. It had a white can, but so I thought maybe I'd go back and get that because apparently it will be on sale on Saturday or something. So. But anyway, overall, I give this one a thumbs up. I don't recall having had too much from Tree Brewing, but
No.
but they were all over the place at the at the beer store today. So
Sweet.
So they had a couple other ones. So, Dave, how's your ginger ale, man?
This is good stuff. Like I was
What's
saying,
the alcohol by volume on that one?
It's negative 0.05.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that at least you were getting something, right? So if it has to suck alcohol out of your system from old alcohol, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's a cleanser.
I've heard that can have an hallucinogenic effect.
Ginger?
Sorry, what the hell's going on with Alan?
I don't know. Is my camera like
it's
strobing?
It's like your green. It's like the green red police, the Christmas police have showed up.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Is gone.
Oh, that's better.
AWOL. Oh,
just picture like some guys in like elf costumes, like showing up in your kitchen, like throwing you to the floor, and be like, "That's it, buddy. You're going to the North Pole to answer for your crimes."
All right, I want to talk about my beer.
Yes, let's hear about it.
All right, so I went off a little bit off the board. I've said on this show lots of times that I'm not a Pilsner fan, but I think I found something that is an exception to the rule.
Okay.
From Fuggles and Warlock, it is their Gin and Lime Pilsner. This may be my new favorite sort of like summer backyard party barbecue-y kind of beer. Normally, I would go for a Blue Buck or something like that, but I think this one may beat it. It is a Pilsner, obviously. It's got gin and lime flavoring in it. The lime really shines through. It's crisp and refreshing. And
is that what you're saying, or is that just off the bottle?
This. Well, that's what I'm saying, but it's on the can too.
So gin classically go with the quinine flavored tonic water. And so what I'm curious about is compare the notes of hoppiness that you're getting from the Pilsner effect with does it taste like quinine at all? Is this G&T-ish?
No. I don't think
Okay.
so.
Okay. Is the flavor better or worse than a G&T?
You know, I probably had one G&T over the years, and it's been a long
Really?
time. So yeah, so
Really?
I don't know if I can really answer that question with any kind of honesty.
You know, the Canada used to be part of the empire, right?
The which?
The British Empire? You know, the one that invented gin and tonic?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You've only had one G&T through life.
Well, maybe one or two. I don't know. Could have had more. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's been a long time. So I don't know if I can say that this is sort of more like that. I don't think so. It definitely tastes like a beer.
It tastes like beer.
It tastes like a Pilsner, but there are notes
but it's
of
refreshing, tasty Pilsner.
Yeah, that's right. There's the notes of the lime and the gin in it as well. It's a nice combination. And it really works. Comes in at, where does it come in at? 5.3%. So it's a bit sessionable. And actually is infused with unruly gin from the Wayward Distillation House, if that means anything to anybody.
Oh, okay. It doesn't exactly, but I'm curious. What do we know about Wayward House?
Wayward Distillation House?
Yeah.
I know nothing about it.
Oh.
And
Okay.
Fuggles
Go
is based in Victoria, right?
Shane,
Research here,
to
but-
the internet.
I have gone to the internet and I have found the Wayward Distillery, fundamentally against the grain. Exceptional spirits crafted from honey. It's Canada's first distillery to produce a pop-up in my face. Okay, now it's gone. And it's Canada's first distillery to produce spirits using 100% BC honey. Located in the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island, Wayward Distillery incorporates spirit culture by producing unruly gin, unruly vodka, Krupenik, Drunken Hive rum, and depth charged spirits. Actually, I saw depth charged spirits today at the store. I did not realize it was.
This sounds badass.
It does, because the reason I saw it is that
it's distillery mead, isn't
well,
it?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I guess you'd be right.
But by the way, if you want to follow them on social media, all you really need to do is use the hashtag #BeUnruly, BEE Unruly. So there you go.
Oh,
Huh.
clever.
But yeah, they've got their own hives, all that kind of fun stuff, and yes, I saw this too, the Drunken Hive rum. I saw that at the store today. All right, screw you guys. I'm going back to the store. It's open till 11. And they've been winning awards like.
Oh my
constantly.
God! Oh, the pain of living in Ontario. Your liquor stores are open till 11. Ours close at 8.
That's what happens when
you live in
can't
Ontario.
get $1 for was it a buck?
I
a buck of
think
beer?
I think actually here in BC they have to close at 10 right now.
Do they really?
Yeah, they have to close by 10 until the health orders allow bars and anybody who serves alcohol to stay open later than that.
Let's see. What are their hours? Oh yeah, well, actually they've changed their website since I was last year. Says in their hours they're open till 11. I don't know. Who knows?
I know Cascadia is only open till 10 right now. They'd normally be open till 11.
Right.
Yeah. To the Empire, Julian.
to the new order.
Cheers. No, I'm really enjoying this gin and lime pilsner. I don't think it's available all year round.
No.
Shane, get this if you can find it. Get it.
I will get. Well, I was actually surprised it wasn't there, but I will
Me
also
too.
point out that the a lot of the beer shelves at Legacy today were actually empty. Like they had their cooler, which had like a lot of stuff, but it was like mainly Canadian and Coors Light and stuff.
Right.
But their craft area was actually quite sparse. Like they have like 7 fridges, and 3 of them had stuff in them, and the rest of them were like, the odd can here or there. So they either hadn't restocked or are low on stock. And I know that their deliveries are supposed to show up on Tuesdays, just like a lot of the sort of private beer stores in town. So I don't know. Maybe they're late. I don't know. COVID. Who knows?
Who knows?
What do you guys think? Really? Oh man, I know it's tough. All right, so what's been going on in the world in the last week? COVID news. We have the lowest number of active cases we've had since like last October. Congratulations, BC, on actually pulling it off. We only have, I believe 2,700 at least known, people that have, had to go to get recorded or whatever. And apparently we're getting more vaccines soon. So apparently we could get our second shots as early as sometime in July, at least for me anyway.
Is that practicable though? Like I thought the reason that there was a delay between the first and the second shot wasn't just supply, but rather because in order for it to ultimately bolster your immune system most effectively, in between the first and the second shot.
Well, the initial, I believe, at the very beginning when the vaccines were first being manufactured and put out the door, it was 30 days, like within 4 weeks or something.
Yes.
And then they discovered later on that actually was not. It wasn't as you didn't have to have it that soon. You could actually stretch it out to like 3 months or something. So. But also now you can stretch it a bit further because they're getting good results. I mean, this is the problem where all the research is going on at the same time that it's being thrown into people's arms. Yeah. So we're basically the biggest test group ever. It's like, we had 10,000 people in the original thing, but now we've got millions, and now we can actually see what's going to go on in the real world. So that's a good thing. However, I definitely am feeling very, very. I'm feeling a lot safer now that it's been a couple weeks for my immune system to kind of do its thing.
Yeah.
So I feel, I'm still wearing a mask. I'm still going out, sparsely. But when I do go out, last night I went to a restaurant on the patio for the very first time. That was not the red truck across the street, but it actually was. I went out to get some beer brewing supplies. They were on sale at a Save On Foods down up in North Van. And so popped over there. Exactly. And then we were there and I thought, you know what, we're hungry. Let's go get some food right now. And so there was a white spot right there in the same mall. And we thought, they have a patio. We went in. The guy's like, you can sit inside or outside. You can sit wherever you want. It's like, really? Okay, well, let's go outside because it's a nice evening. And it was warm. I felt it actually was weird. It was a weird feeling to be out somewhere that I had not been before, and I wasn't like, okay, how far away am I from people? Have I touched something and stuck it up my nose or something? Or what's going on?
Yeah.
It was odd to feel odd going to a restaurant, which is something that people have done for bazillions of years, and I don't know,
bazillions of years.
Yes. Exactly.
Going to restaurants.
The end of the universe has been around forever.
Zillions of years.
Actually, yeah. I mean, look. There have been those, more extreme points of view that have suggested that maybe this is the end of the restaurant industry in general. No. I think you'll find that there were restaurants at least as far back as Rome, and how many plagues have humanity waded their way through since?
Exactly.
Well, did you know that Australopithecus was found when they were excavated the body? Australopithecus was actually found on a restaurant balcony with with a pint glass.
Yeah.
And
I was like, what is he talking about? With a glass in his hand. He's like on a balcony. Well, you should have seen the restaurants in Pompeii. I mean, they were like all these tables out on the street. There's all these people sleeping, and their chicken is still like, mummified inside of the ash, and it's like, wow, they had like they had like linguine specials on that night. Wow, that's really
Well,
terrible. that
research
all the
I
customers are like, but they still, like,
research
forks
has
in their
found
mouths.
research has found that Australopithecus died trying to calculate a 15% tip.
Thank you for the Douglas Adams. Um, here's a point of view that is underrepresented in the coverage of COVID. It may shock and surprise you that I hang out with individuals who are sometimes a little bit unconventional in the way they
What?
do things.
No.
I'm shocked.
No.
But I had an interesting conversation with an old buddy of mine the other day who was, now understand, he's an introvert. His whole business practice through life has been extremely extroverted, but naturally he's an introvert.
Sure.
And I was talking to him about seeing the other side of COVID, and he said, "Yeah, but then lockdown." What will we do when
That's the show, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Lock Stylings will be up on. He's on stage until 11:45. Try the fish. That was awesome. Dave, pull us out of that. Pull us out. Pull us out, Dave.
So this dude is completely down with the lockdown.
So
is that his
here's
thing?
the thing. He lives in Sweden, so his lockdown has been much less severe than ours.
Okay.
But basically, his point of view is that he doesn't want to fucking talk to anybody. He doesn't want to meet anybody. He doesn't want to go out if he doesn't have to. If he's got a legitimate excuse just to stay home and work, that's what he would vastly prefer to do. And so, look. Truthfully, I have family members that are the same way. Like, not everybody enjoys going out, and some people see it really as a kind of a burden. And so, lockdown for them has been, oh God, finally some peace, right? For me, it's been frustrating because, I basically spent my life out at public places because I need the chatter and noise of strangers in order to feel at peace with the world. I don't want to be around people I know exactly because I already know them, and so when they're doing the chatter and their thing, it's not a comforting chatter. It's, yeah, I probably should listen to this. God, I'm obligated to listen to this. Yeah, they're talking about something I should probably be listening. But if it's strangers, then I don't have to care what they're saying. They can just chatter and mill around, and I feel just this sort of like vibe of like, yes, here I am. I'm in public, just one of the crowd. I don't have to be a person. I'm just a member of the crowd, and I'm just listening to them all do their thing, and it's all good, right? I'm naturally an extrovert, but I live a very introverted life. And so I have the opposite problem, which is to say that for me, lockdown has been thoroughly upsetting and really, really frustrating. At least socially. Most of the stuff that I used to count as quality of life are gone thanks to lockdown. And so for me, it's been really upsetting and really annoying. Now, that said, it's probably forced me to get more work done than usual.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're turning the corner. So, like, the Game 7 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Game 6 between the Canadiens and the Leafs that took place in Montreal. They had 2,500 people in attendance at the Montreal Arena, whatever it's called. They had like 500 people.
Bell Center, isn't that it?
Is that what it is? Yeah, you're right. It's the Bell Center. See, I wanted to say Montreal Forum, which is like way old. Like, yeah. And then for Game 7, I'm strobing again. For Game 7,
Only for Game 7.
they had, I think it was 500 people in the whatever their arena is called, the Air Canada Center.
Sure. I've had a stroke. Right on the camera.
It would be Maple Leaf Gardens, but they're now a Loblaws. So go on.
Oh, you're talking about Maple Leaf Gardens, yeah. But I mean, like the actual arena that they play out at now. It's the Air Canada Center, isn't it?
Is that what it's called?
I think. I don't know.
I had no idea.
I
pay attention.
Like
To sports that aren't CFL.
The corporate naming of arenas is one that like that ship has sailed. There's no point in trying to fight it. It's gone. We all know that's normal now. But God, I hate it.
Same here.
Like you think about Victoria, the Memorial Arena, right? Memorial to all the people that died fighting to preserve the values of democracy and freedom of speech and basic human rights. No. It's the same on Foods Memorial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh God, really?
I know. It doesn't seem right. If I was the commissioner of the NHL, money be damned, I would go back to like the 1970s. Like I would remove all the advertising from the boards surrounding the rink.
Really? That's a strong. Really,
I hate ads on the boards. I hate them. I've always hated them. I would go back to having just clear white boards. They've started putting advertising just small bits of ones on the uniforms.
But that's like Formula One, isn't it?
Well, it is. And if you look at like hockey teams in Europe, I mean, my God, you don't even know what the names of the team is.
Football.
Well, yeah, it's just all ads, and that's all it is. And I think the NHL and sports in North America will eventually be like that as well. But I hate it. Is it?
I mean, the reality is, I mean, the problem with these sporting events is that the gate tickets don't cover. I mean, tickets at the gate for sporting events for a very long time have not really covered the cost of most of it. They really highly depend on the merchandise sales. Like the I think it was like a few years ago in one of the big meetings for the CFL. Like their AGM, they were talking about the sales of merchandise for the different teams. And it was something ridiculous, like 60 or 70% of the sales of merchandise were for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That like all of this money was getting dumped into that team just because their fans are diehard loyalists. Like they are so incredibly insane to support. Insane in a good way.
If somebody wanted to undermine the Rough Riders, the most evil thing they could do is give Saskatchewan an NHL team.
Oh! That is evil. I love it. I will never speak those words to certain parties.
No. It was a sin to say that. I apologize.
You haven't even heard what he said, and he's apologizing to you already. So there you go. But I'm not telling you who said it. It's you have a choice of one of three of them. Oh, hello there. What is this dog's name again? Dash, right. Hello, Dash.
Look at you.
Dash, hello. Hello, Dash, hello.
You're a charismatic doggy, aren't you?
He's, almost 7 months old now or so?
She's like 9 months.
Oh, wow.
What kind of dog is that?
That's half husky, half German Shepherd.
Oh, my God. what a charismatic fellow
He's a
that.
charismatic dog. He is a pretty dog. He's a pretty boy.
Girl, actually, but
It's a
Oh,
girl.
sorry, girl.
It's a girl.
He's a pretty girl. He's a pretty girl. Well, this is the thing: is it's a pandemic dog. I haven't actually met this dog yet. I know nothing about it aside from I know that it's a dog, and Alan is every time Alan looks away, like off camera, I'm picturing him looking for like some sort of horrible thing that some dog is doing. Like, what do you get out of that? What do you that kind of thing. But
this dog gets into everything.
oh, it's at that age. It's like, is this your wall? I'll eat it. Actually, we had friends who they had to take their dog to the vet because the dog had some anxiety issues when they were at work and ate like a wall in their house and ate all this gyprock and stuff.
So yeah, that almost happened to us. So we can't leave her alone. Like somebody has to be with her at all times.
Yeah, she's young.
Jeez.
Well, actually we went out last night. We met some people up in North Van that we know, and they're like, how do your dogs survive when you're not there? And it's like, they're pugs. They sleep. Or maybe they have pug parties or something. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't have a camera.
I know.
Actually, now I kind of want to get a camera.
I know what setters do. They go after garbage and or anything on the counter. And one dog in particular was especially fond of bread. You could not leave bread out. If he found bread, bread.
suddenly the bread will be gone, and so will everything. Oh my god!
There would be torn up bag that used to contain bread all over the house. That's how that would go.
The bread is mine. I mean, to be honest, that does not surprise me because that kind of stuff. I mean, that it's such a common thing for dogs to do, right? Like we went from having a dog that didn't really walk anymore because it had cancer and was old, and to having 6 months later, or 6 months. What am I talking about? 2 days later, having to yell at a dog to get off the damn coffee table. Because you left. This is the one thing that we have actually made the mistake of a few times now, leaving coffee cups on the coffee table, getting up, going to the kitchen, going to the washroom, whatever, and coming back, and there's a dog just in there, just drinking away, and it's like, I've never had a dog that enjoyed this before. What kind of idiotic? What? A, don't eat that. Your stomach's not going to handle it that well. And 2, coffee? Like, what? So yeah, I what's really sad though? I remember many years ago I had this dog named Amanda, and she was kind of a
remember Amanda.
You remember
I
Amanda?
remember
She
Amanda.
was a cute, sweet dog, but dumb as rocks. And she had this very good skill of getting onto the coffee table when you weren't looking. She was very quick at it. You would be like, you wouldn't be into the next room that you were going to go to, and you'd hear nails hitting the top of the thing. And it was the only dog that we had that did that. Like no other dog that I had ever done this really. So you knew it was her. And I went downstairs. I came back upstairs. She was on the coffee table in a sugar bowl, licking the sugar in the sugar bowl.
Oh.
And I said, "Get down!" And she did. And she let out this horrible scream. And I thought, and it's still emblazoned on my mind. But when she had jumped off, she dislocated her shoulder because I guess she hit the ground wrong. So I took her to the vet. She's screaming the whole way. And I get to the vet. The vet's like, "Oh, yeah, come here." And we're thinking like she broke something. He's like, no, hold on to her. And he just goes on her leg. And then she stopped screaming and she was fine. It was like, yeah, she's dislocated. I could tell right away. And then we were gone in like 5 minutes. Got home. He's
How
like,
much did he
looking for the
charge
sugar
you
bowl.
for that?
So
Actually, I don't recall being charged anything for that particular vet adventure.
Is the adorable little puppy that was Amanda is every bit as tough as Mel Gibson was in
Lethal Weapon.
too.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole thing for that entire series was like him doing the whole shoulder thing, And it's interesting because in what was it in they had a reference to Lethal Weapon in the film Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, whatever the title is, where Godzilla throws Kong into like a building or something, and you see Kong suddenly go, and Godzilla's just kicking the crap out of Kong, right? And Kong's like on the ground, but he's still holding his shoulder, like getting the crap kicked out of him. And luckily, Mecha Godzilla was there to like fight, so he wasn't getting mortally wounded. But he gets up after Mecha Godzilla is distracting Godzilla, and he gets up and he goes up to a building and he slams his shoulder into the building like Riggs do, and then he's like, "Rah!" and then he's like kicking the crap out of Godzilla. But
awesome.
yeah, it was. But apparently, so I read later on that the director said, "Yeah, no, that was totally a Lethal Weapon thing that we wanted to do." So I don't know why, but they decided it was funny. But every so often, you just want to watch a movie where there's big, large lizards and apes kicking the crap out of each other, or robots beating the hell out of monsters.
Rampage. But sorry, I don't think I've caught this. What year was this?
Earlier this year.
Earlier this year. Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
Which it was in theaters on the streaming services. So yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, because I got into them because I went and saw the first one, which was Godzilla. Was it just Godzilla? Then there was Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
How many Godzilla
was
movies
the Matthew
are there?
Broderick one, which incidentally
No, that was not it.
beyond watchable, just fucking terrible.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it. No.
How many Godzilla movies has there been made over the years?
Actually,
Like, all
funny you
of
should
them.
ask that because I did watch a small documentary after I watched the movie. There's something like 38 since like 1955 or something, or 65 or something. So, but I mean, I'm including all of the ones that were made in Japan, released in Japan, didn't really come
Yeah.
later. So yeah, they've had a whole bunch like Godzilla Goes Babysitting. Like there was that kind of sort of stuff, right? Godzilla beats
Hey,
up,
Vern.
Yeah, hey, Vern. Actually, that's kind of what it was. Well, Godzilla, he was like, he was Godzilla first, and then he had to fight Mothra, and then he had to fight Mothra's cousin, and he just basically went down the line of whatever monsters of that movie were it. But essentially, it went from Godzilla being sort of this creature that was basically just eating humanity for whatever reason to Godzilla protecting humanity for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And now this film I think is the third or the fourth. I think it's a fourth film for the last since 2017 that they've released, because they wanted to create like a MonsterVerse. They were kind of trying to copy Marvel, and they had like the first one, then they had the second one, and then they had Kong Skull Island, which was like went back in time to the 70s and stuff like that, which was basically a rip-off of Predator in a way, but Predator wasn't hiding. He was right there, and he was just going to kick your ass. But yeah, but essentially, Alan is shocked.
Well, no, I have a great idea.
Oh.
Take the MonsterVerse and do a crossover with the MCU.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Who wins, Godzilla or Iron Man?
Hey, Falcon.
No. I'm not
America
on board.
guy.
I'm not on board with MonsterVerses nowadays, at least for this reason, because when that concept first appeared, it was cool. But look at Warner Brothers' attempt. It was Warner Brothers, wasn't it? To remake The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Oh God.
Did you ever see that?
No, I did not.
God,
I do recall seeing their box office stuff, and it did not do well. It was not great.
So bad. Oh, it was
you know what I would really like to see? Them to finally do a crossover between Star Wars and Star Trek.
Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Like Captain Kirk goes and does a slingshot around the sun because they need to do something, but they screw up. Like Spock
And they're
there's a
flung to a
miscalculation.
galaxy far, far away.
A long time ago, and they like there's a Star Destroyer right there. It's like,
Like, who are these guys? Could you imagine, like, Spock going,
Okay,
fascinating,
here's the
and Kurt
fundamental
going,
problem.
fire everything!
Here's the fundamental problem with that. The premise of Star Trek is that there is an empire, and it's an empire of good. The premise of Star Wars is that there's an empire, and it's an empire of evil. Now, what I would rather see is a third option where there's an empire, and it's not an empire of good or evil. It's an empire of practical judgment about trying to get by the way every normal person does every single day.
that sounds boring.
That's well, I don't know. I think they've carried it off on multiple occasions, and I think they've found fairly substantial viewerships. I think that Babylon 5 was an early example, and I think that The Expanse kicks ass for exactly that reason.
Okay.
It's better than both Star Wars and Star Trek because it's more believable and because it accurately gives you a flavor of this is what humanity going to space might in some reasonable time frame, not far in the ancient past, not 2,500 years into the future. What it might actually look like, 500 years from now.
Right.
Well, that's actually, I think, why Star Wars appeals to me as an adult. When I was a kid, it was Star Wars. It was cool. But as an adult, having an appreciation for both Star Wars and Star Trek is that utopian kind of vision of what the future might look like. And then you have Star Wars, which is the lived-in kind of universe, where then you have Firefly, for example, which is like a very very lived in, but it sort of merged those two things together. Like this is
yeah. It was a good
line of Star
example of
Trek,
that synthesis.
but throw in the dirtiness of what
What I want to see.
It sits in between Babylon 5 and The Expanse.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I have not seen Babylon 5. And I actually just the last couple of months have started thinking about watching it and trying to find out where I can actually see it on. Because they've re-released it in Blu-ray, I guess.
But it's still, I think it's still good. It's still a good product.
So let me ask you this. Who wins? Vader and the Emperor or the Borg?
Oh. That is a very good
The Borg.
question.
The Borg win.
win.
The
The Borg win. Here's why. Is because all of that psychic shit gets circumvented by brute force technology. Just ramming fucking circuits into people's heads is more brute force and more simple and less open to esoteric monkey business.
They could probably adapt.
And
Like they could probably adapt to the Borg. They can adapt, like to say the
when
the
does
lightsaber.
Vader? When does Vader use his or the Emperor use their psychic forces on raw technology? They don't. R2-D2 does, but they don't. The Borg are better protected for that reason. If you set R2-D2 against the Borg, you might have another picture.
Well, yeah,
I'd actually
but
like to see that.
I would too.
Razzling Borg drones. Like, we will assimilate you. Yeah. Boot, boot, boot. No, you won't. Psh, zap, zap.
well, they would never assimilate R2-D2 because he has no. He's not a cyborg.
Poor
he's just a
Queen
robot.
shows up. She's like,
Exactly.
it's like Data all over again.
That's my point. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
it is so true. It is so true. Dave, actually, would if you could take any of those three, actually four, we'll include Babylon 5. Now, actually, first of all, Babylon 5, what is it's basically like Deep Space Nine. It's life on a space station, right?
Yeah, more or less.
And then what? What kind of? How many races are we talking about in the show? Is it like dozens or
I
like?
don't remember. It was a long.
Okay.
This was a show that aired in the '90s. I haven't watched it since.
Okay. Because I really am so far behind.
But what I can tell you, bluntly, is that the politics were more nuanced than Coke and Pepsi, the lefty and the righty.
The lefty and the righty, yeah.
Like the lefty righty two-step, the tennis court metaphor. Revolutionary politics, at least since the American Revolution, probably further back, probably as bad as the Glorious Revolution because it produced the Whigs and the Tories. Although that evolved into a three-party system, you'll note. Yeah. I mean, hard to say for sure, but the lefty-righty two-step, it's what you get when you've got a race to the bottom in the market of ideas. If you're trying to make your argument, and the only way you can do it is by getting adherents who buy then your opponent is going to do the same thing. You're down to the lowest common denominator right away, and it's all a matter of who's loyal. It's stupid. It leads us to bad results. It leads us to stupid ideas. It leads us that favor of abortion and the death penalty, or we're in favor of choice. And for anything caused by victimhood, right? Like false dichotomy. You can't break it down into such simplistic, frankly, politically conventional and convenient terms without losing something in the process. If you take whether we're talking about a Monet or a Da Vinci or or an Albrecht Dürer, and we reduce the pixel size such that there are only two pixels, what you're going to get is one black one and one white one. That's stupid.
Pixel.
That doesn't convey the original information without a lot of loss. In terms of lossy compression, that's as lossy as it gets. That's as stupid as compression can force a concept into being, right? Like let's take something highly complex, highly nuanced that conveys subtleties and reduce it to 2 pixels. What do you get? You get a black pixel and a white pixel. And I'm saying that that's a bad idea.
I can see that. Dave? Comments? Rebuttals?
I have to admit I'm lost as to what's the black pixel, what's the white pixel.
Well, the white pixel would be all the colors that are lighter than gray. And the black pixel would be all the colors that are darker than gray. Now, admittedly, if we were talking about, say, some of the, sfumato, tenebroso sort of pieces that Michelangelo de Merisi, made, those would probably be 2 black pixels. So the National Gallery in Ottawa has actually displayed paintings that are effectively, I can't remember if it was 1 or multiple shades of black, but it was equally stupid. You remember Voice of Fire? The reason it was Voice of Fire was here we're getting totally postmodern, because here the shittiness of the concept, which is reduce everything to broad strips of color that don't convey much message, except the outrage of seeing your government gallery pay for something that children would never do because they're more creative than that. You know, that's why Voice of Fire. That's why it was titled appropriately, and that's why it was a little bit clever, kind of like the, you know, the what was that British artist that did the Piss Jesus and all of that? You know, clever titles with nominal effort to create outrage.
Artist who did Piss Jesus? What?
Yeah. Look it up. Shane, you're back on research duties. Google that. What's his name again?
Are you talking about?
I forget the names of people I have contempt for. So that's why
Andre Serrano.
Huh?
The only British,
that doesn't sound right.
The only British artist that I'm familiar with right now is Banksy.
The cow. Hold on. Okay. All right. I'm doing my own research because evidently I have to.
No, hang on. I'm bringing
hold
up.
On, let's see
what I found. Settle down. Here we go. So, is this what you're talking about? This piece of art?
Yeah, that's the one.
So, apparently,
what is his name again? What's
right here?
No, that's the person who wrote the article. What the fuck's the name of the artist?
The person who wrote the article is this person.
Oh,
this is.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm just learning about this.
God, I don't remember that. Okay, I do forget the names.
Yeah,
of people
yeah, that's his name. This is his quote. This is the artist. It says, "We explore his piss Christ and the subsequent outrage."
Is that the artist?
Yeah, but that's the person.
This is the artist.
That's the person tying on to the economic value by exploring the outrage.
He kind of looks like the lead singer for Fine Young Cannibals, doesn't he?
Does sort of.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Apparently, this was destroyed in 2011
Damien
by
Hurst.
vandals.
That's who we're talking about, isn't it? Isn't it Damien Hurst?
Not according to this article. How do you spell Damien Hurst?
Yeah, Damien Hurst's Hirst.
Oh, you're talking about this is Damien Hurst. This is the guy that does the sharks and the. Yeah, here we go. Like the.
Yeah. Didn't he do
the thing?
Isn't that a Damien Hurst piece?
The Piss Christ? No.
It's somebody else. Oh shit! I didn't know that.
The guy that you said was the guy who wrote the article.
All this time, I've been blaming Damien Hurst while forgetting his name.
I'm doing a search for the word "piss" on this article, and it does not appear. So no, it was not him. The Piss Christ guy is whatever this dude's name is. This.
Okay, yeah, but in any event, same shit, different file.
That's not him,
isn't it? Like fuck's sake.
But it's but yeah, the Damien Hurst guy, yeah, that's the guy that does like the sharks of the thing, and then he cut a
the sharks in the thing.
He cut like a pig into multiple pieces, and like it's all in formaldehyde and that kind of stuff, and he's had to redo some of the sharks.
It seems like formaldehyde's a bit of a theme for him. I'd like to dunk him in. And then he could really be famous.
Hey, why not? But I mean, essentially, all of these.
Get credit from that. I'd probably be jailed for it. But even in jail, you can still get credit for that kind of thing. Can you not?
Last time I checked, you could. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Fucker.
That's the name of the episode, Pickle Fucker. Julian wants to know, what would Jesus do? But
He'd
on
pickle
that note-
Damien Hurst. What he'd do.
exactly. On that note, we've been on for an hour. We'll be back maybe on the weekend next Wednesday, definitely. But if you are liking what we do, tell people about us, because we're all cute and adorable or something. But we like beer and we talk about crap. So if you want to come back and crap at us, talk at us, and talk, wow, that went sideways pretty quick. As always, Alan, take us out. All right, keep talking.